Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. That's more than 5 years of Torah every single day, of finding friends from all over the world just to learn together, just to be together, just to appreciate the chance to learn some Torah, face the world as it is, and gain some strength because we did it together. Josh, it's good to see you. Susie, Shush, welcome, Boker Tov. Hope that you and yours are safe and well. Arlene, good morning. Oh wow, Facebook just lit up. Linda and Jack, Arlene and Carl, Boker Tov. Sandy and Cecile, good to see you. Jonathan and Chana, Erev Tov, my friend in Jerusalem. Missed you too. Sunday, welcome, welcome, welcome. Rose and Debbie, Rosa and Cecile, good morning, friends. Let's see who else is here. We're going to say the bracha in a moment. Deborah and Fran, good morning. Corinne and Minna, Barbara and Tara, good morning. Siona and Stan, Lydia, good. So good to see all of you. Let's take a breath. We'll sing a bracha. We'll learn some Torah. Here we go. So good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of you. Thanks, Penny. It is broadcast 1278. It's day 550 since October 7th. We are coming together more than 5 years every single weekday to learn together, to grow together, and to prepare for whatever might come our way. Well, here's something good that's coming our way, Pesach. This coming Saturday night and Sunday night are the two first nights of Pesach here in the United States and in the diaspora. In Israel, the first night of Pesach is the one Seder that they will have. And so this week, what we're going to do is look at some parts of the Seder, perhaps to gain a little bit of material to share. But I asked a question of a sweet group yesterday, and Sandy was part of that group. What if instead of the Haggadah, and you can see in the background on that chair, I've got a big pile of Haggadot, different ones with different, not different core texts, but different commentaries. What if instead of that we had a picture that would hold the entire story? And instead of giving out Haggadot, we put that picture in front of everyone. And we asked everyone to look at the picture and say, tell me your story. Would that be enough? I'm asking it actually in a very serious way. I've done a lot of work on the Seder myself, published a little bit here and there, but what I'm coming to realize is that the core of our story doesn't require a written script. We have internalized our story, and the reason why I can say that is a teaching from within the Haggadah. The Haggadah says, and it's quoting a teaching from Rabban Gamliel, an ancient sage from around the year 140 CE or so. He said, one who does not say Pesach, Matza, and Maror, talk about those three things, did not complete their Seder, didn't fulfill their obligation. The opposite of that is therefore true. One who does say Pesach, Matzah, Maror did complete their Seder. And so I'm not really suggesting that you do this, but for those who are anxious to get to the meal, you could theoretically, if you're following Rabban Gamliel's perspective, say, hey everybody, Pesach, Matzah, Maror, and say that you are done. Why does he need to say that? What's behind his question or his statement? And why does it strike people like me who have nostalgia for the wonderful texture of a Seder, the memories that I have gained over my lifetime, things my grandfather of blessed memory used to do, things that I remember my mother doing during Seder, the conversations, the arguments, the rhymes, the animal sounds for Chad Gadya. Why was Rabban Gamliel worried about those three things? Well, what I want to offer is just a reflection on Pesach and Matzah and Maror. That'll be it for today. What does the word Pesach refer to in Rabban Gamliel's context? It refers to the sacrifice that was offered. Now you might say, well, the sacrifice that's offered is the gratitude offering. Well, that's true. But think about when the first Korban Pesach was offered, the first sacrifice for Pesach, it was offered before we were freed. Remember that the Israelites were told to stay in their homes, mark their doorposts, draw the windows, if they had them, and eat the Korban Pesach at home during Leil Shimurim, the night of protecting, of guarding, because the very next day they would be free. So the first Pesach is actually before freedom. So when we begin with a mentioning of Pesach, which represents, we have usually a shank bone or something on our Seder plate, it represents God's outstretched arm. But we were still in Egypt during that first experience of the Korban Pesach. So if you're telling your story, we're not yet free. It's important to remember that we're on the precipice of freedom when that symbol is first activated. Matzah? Of course, well, I say of course, I wait all year to have matzah. I don't have matzah during the year so that that first crunch during Seder is a sensory overload. I'm feeling the crunch, I'm tasting my history, and I'm remembering, we all must remember, that we didn't have time. The plagues didn't happen in an instant, but we still didn't have time. How can you prepare for the rush of freedom when for 210 years your family, your people, your nation has been enslaved, and the God who took care of us did not appear for 210 years, so much so that when Moses comes and tells us we're going to be free, we can't even breathe in the possibilities of liberation. The matzah tells me, with its sharp crunch and its complicated history, that our story has urgency. If Pesach is about the uncertainty and matzah is about the urgency, the maror itself, when we eat it, is a deeply emotional thing too. I don't know how many of us have had the experience that I remember very well. Maror was a test, at least that I posed myself. No one tested me. But I wanted to prove that I was old enough and big enough and strong enough to have the maror. It wasn't the beet-soaked, chopped up and diced horseradish, the chrein, that we have with the gefilte fish. I had, from the root, and I cut off a big piece, and I forget how young I was, but I just chomped it and swallowed it, and I had never, to that date, felt such physical discomfort and pain. My inside was on fire, my nose and my eyes started running, and nothing could get rid of the burning. And I was a child having that experience. I hope we protect our children from any sense that they need to prove themselves. But I know a lot of us have that experience. I see, Valerie, you had it too. If The Korban Pesach itself, is about the uncertainty because we had the first Korban Pesach. We ate that meat in our homes before we were free, when the angel of death was all around during the final plague. And the Matza is about running for our lives, running from an untenable, unsustainable, threatening situation. And the Maror is about internalizing it. I can't talk about the pain of my history. I have to feel some of that discomfort inside of me. And of course, I can't now. For all of my empathy with our ancestors, my solidarity with my ancestors, and our solidarity with our people today as we go through not Egypt, but it's a complicated time that will one day be included on the margins of Haggadot. I have 2 Haggadot today that were published by the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. We spoke about it yesterday. That will become part of the anthology that we now call a Seder. So let me return to the earlier question. What if all we had was a picture? And our responsibilities at the Seder is to look at a picture. And the prompt is, tell me your story. First of all, what would that picture be, friends? What's the picture for you? What have you been picturing every time I say it? And that might help us think about why Rabban Gamliel was so concerned that we would talk about these 3 things: Pesach, Matza, Maror. What does it mean to have an obligation that can be fulfilled with a few basic ingredients, all of them food? Perhaps it means that we can't tell our story unless it's in us. In us. How important it is to think about that the story is broken down into bite-sized pieces, and we eat it, and we sense it, and we feel it. We shudder with it. Yes, all the other flavors of Seder, all the other things that we do are also incredible and wonderful and real and precious. But it is important for us to remember too. And this is perhaps what's behind Rabban Gamliel's concern. It's important for us to remember that for all of those additional flavors and the contemporary context, this is meant to bring us back to the original story. And it's all too relatable, isn't it? Some years, Pesach takes effort to travel through time and to step into that perspective. Some years, it doesn't take so much effort. So I want to bless us before we sing Hatikva, that one day, please God soon, one day, please God soon, we ask ourselves again, what's the minimum we need to do? What is it really all about? I don't remember. And then we'll look at Rabban Gamliel's wisdom in the Haggadah, and we'll hear him say, from his own uncertain time in the aftermath of the destruction of the temple in 70 CE, we will hear him say, if you didn't talk about Pesach, Matzah, and Maror, if you didn't own your story, eat your story, become the story, you don't know yet. So, my children, he calls to us. Let it in. The parts that are hard, they're also there. They're not the end of the story. But for us to tell our story and write the next chapter, we have to know where we begin. I think we know. This coming Saturday night and Sunday night in the diaspora and Saturday night in Israel, we will remember, but a different kind of memory, an internalized memory, a remembrance that spiritually or biologically, we are the descendants of the characters in the story. We are Rabban Gamliel's students. Pesach, Matzah, and Maror, the same stuff that was in him is now in us. It's our turn to write the next chapter until we say with finality, L'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim. I wish us that certainty next year in Jerusalem, friends. Let's take a breath. We're going to send our hearts to the east. We're going to pray for the fulfillment of Pesach's message of freedom for our 59 beloved hostages, sending strength to their families, Gratitude to those fighting for them, physically fighting in Sahel, spiritually fighting through all the learning and building and community organizing, and please God, even elected leaders, prioritizing the hostages once again. Sing with me, friends. Kolon balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.